Just give us Walpurgis, Walgreens, Waluigi's Mansion. Like, I just get to the point, man. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Niisan podcast with yours truly, Josh, Xell, Kim, and joined with me today is, of course, none other than Crim, the Asian Avenger.
How's it going, Crim? Me. What up, dude? Lots of big stuff this week. Things that I'm really excited for, and maybe sad for. We don't know. We'll find out. And of course, potentially some content news.
Yeah. So today's episode is going to be mostly talking about the current season of anime yet again. Couple episodes back, I think episode 17, we kind of gave our first impressions based off like the title synopses without really having watched much of anything. But now we've got a couple episodes under our belt. We've seen a bit more of the shows, and so now we're going to talk into. I mean, I know I've already dropped shows. I know, Crim, you probably have as well. And which also, by the way, has led to me winning the Boba bet.
We don't know that. We don't spoil that yet, okay? We don't spoil that yet, okay? Look, the thing is, we have some things we need to talk about this week, and it's, essentially is the hot or nots of animes before Xell tells you anything. Maybe
the jocks and the nerds of the anime kingdom, right? But first, we've got some stuff. Right, Crim? I know you wanted to share something particularly dear to your heart.
Yes.
Maybe even something that for our YouTube watchers can get a glimpse of even.
So I was sorry, hold on, let me just put that down. Sorry, what was that? Oh man,
what was that?
What was that? Oh, I don't know. What were those?
Editor, can you just rewind and get up close on that instant replay?
I don't know how those got. I'm holding them for a friend. This, for those that have been reading the manga and following along with the chapter publishings, right? You'll have already known that Demon Slayer has ended. About like a year ago now, right? But now in the U.S. publishing, we finally got the final issue. So for the collectors out there, go out, pick up your Demon Slayer issue 23 right meow whenever this airs, because I don't know, series is big enough to where I could see you being really happy that you picked the first printing of this up. Let's just go with that, because manga is now starting to appreciate in value. And so that's pretty cool to see. I just recently paid a silly amount for a first printing of Yu Yu Hakusho stuff. So all of that is pretty wild. So just for the manga collectors out there, go do the thing, go pick it up.
Yeah, I think, like you said, manga is one of those things that's become kind of like a collector's item a little bit, And so, if that's your jam, you can get the U.S. ones very now. I guess
now.
Other news that I wanted to talk about, which is special to my heart personally, is that the rebuild series of Evangelion has officially come to an end with the fourth release of the movies.
When was this was supposed to come out in 2011, right? Original.
This was supposed to come out a while ago. And from what I remember, it was the director Hideaki Anno. He had mental issues going into some of the production and stuff, and so he basically just stopped doing the project for a while, and then now we've come to the point where they're okay, the funny thing is I chose not to watch any of the movies thus far. I wanted it to completely be at its end, so now I'm going to go back and now watch it from the top. But I heard, and you probably already know this if you've watched some of the movies already, is that it diverges quite a bit from the original. So I'm excited to see exactly how that happens, and it's supposed to be, I guess, according to Hideaki, his vision for what Evangelion should have been from the first time around. I don't know
if the budget didn't run out or something like that.
Yeah. So I'm very curious what this is going to be like, and I've already heard some mixed things / good things. It's weird. I hear some people hate it, other people are in love with it. So I'm kind of curious.
That's not just the best way. You
know what? I'm excited now.
That feels pretty Evangelion, though. right? Like I feel like, right? Like I mean, we'll find out. But I'm actually much like Xell. I watched the original show. I watched the end of Evangelion. I've watched the old movies, but I actually didn't watch the new ones. You know, by now they're like you probably know they've added a new kid into the thing. So I'm actually going back and I'm going to watch those. I've already seen all the show in the first 2 movies that happened, but like now it's time to watch the movies because I didn't want to watch a movie and then wait 3 years to see part 2. So I wanted to see it all at once, and so I'm just going to binge the first 2 and then binge the latter 2.
Yeah, so that's going to be actually a future episode coming to the channel pretty soon.
Oh, that's so cool. There it is. And by the way, spoiler alert, we're going to do a video. And we're excited. Should I have not said that? Should it just have been a surprise? I don't know. I got excited. That's fine. You know what? As 50% of the Niisan podcast, and I being the other 50% of the shareholding, we're fine. Okay, great. We're rich, by the way. We're very rich because of this podcast. Invest into NSP. It's popping off, dude. It's popping off, everyone. Please do that. But NSP I don't think is even a company, nor is it publicly traded. But theoretically, you could just also use a Twitch Prime sub on twitch.tv/The Asian Adventure or twitch.tv/so. We'll settle. We'll settle for it. It's really Amazon's money, but really like we can pretend it's ours. Coffee? How about coffee if you don't want to do the sub? Oh yeah, that's true. That's also true. Okay. But let's talk about the current season. So we were kind of down on it. And, 2 weeks ago, we talked a little bit about it. And I remember us being like, oh, I don't know. It could be bad, could be good. But now is the moment of truth. It's like we're 4 to 6 episodes in on a lot of these shows. Yeah, half truth. And so because I think a lot of people subscribe to the whole 3-episode test essentially. And we're even beyond that. So let's start getting into this. I'm just gonna start reading off titles, and then we're just gonna go back and forth about it. So here is the first one: Slime Season 2 Part 2. What we thinking? How you think about this? I'm still watching it. It's okay. Wow, what a statement. Damn. From downtown, Crim says it's okay. It's okay? I know all that build up. But am I not wrong though? Like it just feels 100%. Okay, am I missing something? Should it be like, oh my god, my clothes? It just flies off. It's so good. I think everybody who's been keeping up with Slime this season, we've all just been like, I get it. This meeting between all the demon lords. We're very excited. Yes, we're very excited. We're still excited, kind of. What is it called? Like Walgishpurg or something? Waluigi, Walgreens. I don't remember. But Walmart. The point here is, I think we still have the same issue that we had from the first impressions. Yeah. Yo, this is great and all, and I get you're building up this big fight, but as if you look at the episode count, we're ending pretty soon. Yeah, like we're already halfway done. Hello, get on this, okay? Just give us Walpurgis, Walgreens, Waluigi's mansion. Like, I just get to the point, man. I can't stand waiting any longer. And this last episode was like the final one, and like they finally are like, okay, next episode is going to be the time where it actually goes down. And it better, because I have a bone to pick with it. So it's like, it's this show has been so boring, but like everyone keeps promising that it's going to get there. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine if you're into a bunch of people talking around like a round table and like people being like, oh yeah, that slime person, very mysterious, very powerful. Yes, that sounds just like Final Fantasy 14. Actually, yes. You can't say that's true. That's not true. Yes. And just like Final Fantasy 14, like if you're in ARR or Stormblood, people are like, oh, but the next one is so good. And you're like, please, can we just, how do I fast forward to there? I would like to stop with these fetch quests that we're in. It's escape, yes, on every cutscene. And that's how I am with Slime. I'm like, I'm
happy. Yeah,
I skim. I'm not gonna like. I've skimmed like a few episodes because I watched it over again, right, just to make sure I got it. But like, I skimmed a little ahead to see, does anything happen? And so far, not a lot has.
No.
Right, and then I went back and I watched. Okay, well, sure. Like I got impatient. I think it was episode 2 episodes ago. I got very impatient. I'm like, okay, still nothing.
Give
Nothing?
Walpurgis, please.
Come on.
I'm begging you. I need a crumb of Walpurgis or whatever it's called. I just need a crumb.
Yeah. Like,
please.
Just show me a little bit, okay? Like, I just a peek, okay? Crack open the door. Let's see something happen. So my general consensus right now is I don't know if this is just a sunken cost fallacy kind of thing going on at this point. But for me, I'm still watching because it's just perfectly okay. And maybe if it were in any other season, I would have dropped. But
the only thing that's keeping me going is the promise that it'll be good. So
I thought you were gonna say Promise Neverland. I'm like, you gotta let it go, man. You gotta let it go. It's not gonna be good, dude. It's not gonna be good, man. If you watch season 2 again, it's not getting better. Like,
oh my god.
But yeah, so my mid-view or mid-season review on this so far is be prepared for a lot of filler. Like, holy crap, a lot of filler, and maybe the needle barely moving after what now 13, 14 episodes, 18 episodes. I don't, but we're like 6 episodes away from being done with the season. So
yeah,
they chop. Come on,
please. Okay, yeah. So that's Slime. Next show I want to talk about is Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. So I remember us talking about it before, and we were both like, I remember I had to tell you what was actually on that poster, and that it was in fact boobs or booba.
Those are not boobas. Those are weapons of mass destruction. I don't. And now after seeing the show, it confirms.
Yeah.
Like I feel like the entire budget is there.
Yeah, they certainly don't. They put a lot of time and thought into the physics of the show.
The physics of the show, yes, specifically in some areas.
But you know what? Despite us talking about it, I'm actually pleasantly surprised that the show has not actually diverted from season 1 very much in terms of the general wholesomeness of the show. And that's, dude, I remember us talking about this before too. I was like, dude, like Kyoto Animation have to be gods to pull this off, to make an ecchi manga into a wholesome, beautiful anime. They have this girl with bazongas the size of Texas, and like, how are they going to possibly make this feel wholesome? And they did, because I forgot Kyoto Animation are gods. They're gods. I don't know what I can say more than that. I've enjoyed the show. I'm still up with it. This is one of my favorite shows that I'm looking forward to week after week. So,
yeah, and you know what's pretty wild about it? There's even battles. like
some hype ass battles too.
I mean, with shirts and things conveniently ripping in certain spots, but like there's let's be honest here. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like there's still a part where like conveniently some of it shreds. The classic the way the anime clothes deteriorate. Yeah, of course. But yes, regardless of that, the show is still that wholesome thing that you love. It's a lot more of the cutesy stuff, but this season there's tension. There's battling. The animation's still dope. And I like Miss Booba. She's not a bad character. When your eyes are up here, Xell, she's a great character, okay? And I you know what? You know what? Let's go with I shrimp for her. I'm a shrimp for her. How about that?
Oh no.
I think she's a fine character. She's not bad. Like I mean, like not like fine. Like,
would you buy a figure of Ilulu?
Would I buy a figure of her? Let's not ask questions, okay? But the thing here is, legitimately, I do think she's a cool character. She's not as silly as I thought she was going to be. I thought she was going to be like all physics, right? And that's it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah, cool inclusions, great characters. Still love the show. So good job, Dragon Maid. Hell yeah.
I literally have no idea how they pulled it off. And this season has been really interesting too, because we get a lot more about where the dragons came from, which is cool. and I really like the world building. What? There's world building in Dragon Maid? What? Where are we? How did we get here? I don't know, but it's great, and I'm all for it.
Dragon Maid, is this the anime we needed this season?
I mean, yes, I'm going to go with a yes. The show has been front to back awesome, and this show, yeah, has me hype for the season overall. I like this. I like the show so much. So, moving on, we've got the detective is already dead.
What?
So, yeah, all right, Crim, you take this one. Wow,
Right.
where are you at with this?
So with how awesome the beginning of the show started, oh my God, the 40-minute episode, and it just keeps building. And, I finally started watching more and more of it. And wow, it's really bad. It's really bad. Like, wow. So you remember the physics that we thought would come from Dragon Maid Season 2? That happens here now. It's like borderline H word. It's not Hearthstone. You can probably figure it out for yourselves, but the thing here is like it's dude, there's a lot of physics. This part, like, what happened? Where did the mystery go? Is the mystery like how she's able to bounce in certain areas like that? Like there's a lot of things that go on in the show, and none of it is as intriguing as the first episode.
So are you still watching the show?
No, I dropped this. I have dropped this after, let's see, what is 6 episodes?
Oh, dang. Okay.
I think there's
dropped
one
it
more.
in the third episode.
Well, you can watch more of it if you want to, but it's bad.
Thank you.
It's bad. Like, I don't want to lie to you, man. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, I think because again we this was a show where the first episode came out pretty early, so we got to watch the first episode quite early on, and I was so impressed by the animation. I was like telling people like, "Yo, where did this come from? This animation of her with the rifle and the plane, like that was amazing. Like what's gonna happen
dude with
next?"
The slime.
Yeah, and then like, I guess I was just waiting for the show to start explaining itself. And it just never did. And it just kind of gets wackier and crazier and more harem-esque, over time. And I was like, I don't know what I'm watching anymore. And so I dropped it because I was like, I felt like the promise of the show was that we'd get some sort of like mystery thing, because you've got that main character, the guy, right? He's very much that sort of mystery solver kind of. He's the cool guy, and he's very perceptive, and he's supposed to and that's the thing. It's not cool. He's not cool, and the way things get solved is not cool. And like I'm so disappointed after seeing the first episode where it ended up very soon after, and so.
Did you ever watch Inspector?
Yes.
So this has felt like now Inspector, but instead of the good parts. Now I know some of you may be like, "But what good parts?" So if you take the beginning and the ending, right, and you ignore the like 8 episodes in between, it was pretty solid, right? This show feels like the 8 episodes just only, except for the first, like the 8 episode, the middle part of Inspector is what this feels like. A lot of nothing. A lot of nothing. I mean, a lot of booba, but I guess, you can get that anywhere. So like when it comes to anime, that's like everywhere. So
what? You're telling me you can see booba in anime, Crim?
There are.
That's
I know
crazy.
things. I know things. Okay. I know things.
That's I mean, 1, that's disgusting. And 2, if you ever don't ever share that with me. Okay. Don't ever share that with me. Speaking of garbage, I know we talked about this next show. Kano, as Crim calls it, Kanoho.
I'm sorry, anybody that who understands Japanese, speaks Japanese. I am so sorry. Okay, I'm used to it being silent. Okay.
If anything, it feels like a double entendre. So, did you watch the show, Crim?
No, Xell, I haven't watched the show. Why would you assume that I watched this? I have not watched this show. I swear. You can look at my Crunchyroll account. There's no progress
look at me
meter.
Smiling. No cross fingers. Let me see your hands. Tell me that you're not watching the show.
Hand check, right? Hand check. Okay.
Yeah.
I have not watched this show. I swear. There is no progress meter. I have not seen anything about this show. All right.
Okay.
All right?
He's safe. He's clean. He's clean.
He's good. He's with us. He can come.
You can get out of the cop car now. Yeah. You've been watching this.
Hold on. You sure asked me a lot. Have you watched this show at all, or?
Oh, please, Crim, please. Okay, all right. I guess I have to do the same thing. I gotta.
Yeah, without smiling.
I have
hand
also
check.
not watched the show at all because the show looked like garbage.
Wait, it looks like you cracked a smirk there, and your eyes wandered.
What? No.
Okay, dude.
Let me out of this cop car. Let me out of this cop car.
Sure. Watch him. So the thing is, it looks like neither of us are watching the show. It's pretty much the basic NTR show. Yeah. Right. We don't need to watch this.
All right, moving on. Vanitas No Carte, the Vampire Bones show. Yeah.
Carnitas the vampire. Okay. This show, main character, still kind of creepy, but for the typical vampire anime, it usually devolves into this weird, very sexual, right? And there's still some of the sexual tension there, but that's just natural, I feel like, with most vampire stuff. But this is to the level where I really do like, the world building, actually. And they've really expanded on the world. This show, I am still watching, and I'm going to probably keep watching. There's some intriguing characters, there's some intriguing pieces to the show, and most importantly, it legitimately just didn't become this weird, very, very weird show. Let's go with that. Most vampire shows, we all know what I'm talking about. I don't need to say any more than that. It just usually goes into other directions, right? We know.
Like Twilight.
Yes, like Twilight. Actually, funny that you mentioned that, though. I did pick up a new manga called Call of the Night, and this one is about to become a vampire, you essentially have to be in love with the vampire. So, but it's actually good. Don't give me that. Okay, this is actually good though. Okay, I swear. Okay, whatever. I'm not gonna justify that. The point is, the Vanitas book, this show has beautiful animation. I still think you could do without the book. Do we need to see the book do more?
We need to see his Sailor Moon transformation of the book every time, Crim. Do you know how much money they spent on that transformation sequence?
I mean, they may as well just voice acted the book then, right? Because at this point, if we're going to see the book that much, give it dialogue.
Make it a talking book. What's that game? It Takes Two?
Yeah.
Yes, I am the book of love.
Hey, all right, okay, give me that, right? Just make the book talk, because it's got some seriously unnecessary scenes. It's just like flexing to flex a budget. Yeah,
no, I actually ended up dropping the show. And it's not actually because the show is aggressively bad necessarily, but for me it was watching the main character Vanitas was kind of like back to back watching every movie that Jim Carrey has done or Will Ferrell has done, or they play the same character in everything, and they're always this like
here. Okay, Jim
quirky.
Carrey is a gem.
Quirky. I like Jim Carrey movies generally, but I don't think I could back to back watch all the movies that he's in, because he's kind of the same guy every time, and he's always this overly wacky thing, and that's how Vanitas feels for me. It's like I feel like I've just watched every Johnny Depp movie where he's a quirky, weird guy who can't communicate well, and so Vanitas, the main character, sort of grated on me, and it's really. That's really a small complaint, because I think the show's atmosphere and stuff is actually quite cool and stuff. But it was a show that just I got to a point where I just wasn't very excited to watch it, and so I just ended up dropping it. I didn't end up watching up to like episode 5 or something, so I did end up watching a lot of it. But
he goes to the vampire world. Oh, okay, well, you know what? Okay, fair. I mean, I love Ace Ventura. I could watch Ace Ventura for 19 hours straight. So I'm not exaggerating because that's actually like very true. So, and it shows. Okay.
How about The Mask?
I said Ace Ventura. The Mask. Okay, I don't know if I can handle The Mask. That movie's like small dosages, but Ace Ventura is fine. So yeah, but this isn't an Ace Ventura podcast yet. So we're gonna move on to the next show for this season.
Yes.
You dropped. I'm still watching. Closing thoughts is, if you're okay with a kind of like an outlandish main character, but you're into the world of like seeing the like vampire worlds that they've built here, I think it's pretty fun. So. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so that's Vanitas. The next show is Bokutachi no Remake Our Life. I have to catch up with the show, but I actually really like the show. The show has been pretty okay, I think. It's not like I haven't been like fully in love with the show yet, but I do enjoy it, and it is a lot about the things that I like, which is like production stuff and like figuring out how to put different creatives together and make a creative project. Like that part excites me. I like having the older characters, kind of interact and stuff. But so far, after a couple of episodes, I'm pretty into it. It's definitely it has like a more adult, grown up feeling to it, which I enjoy that tone a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm also not on the side of like, oh, the show is amazing and awesome. It's just like, it's okay. It's fine.
I love this show. I think the character, I guess my question to you is, I mean, like the short purple-haired girl, right? The one that you kind of just liked at the beginning, right? Like,
she gets better. She gets better.
A lot better. Right? Yeah. Okay. She got better, and I mean, feels like the most recent episode was just pointless because it was a recap, and it's like, dude, it's only been 6 episodes. Do we need a recap? like, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, cool, thanks for that. But I thank God this is also not in high school or something like that. It's like, like I felt like it's so common to just see everything always take place in high school. Now we're starting to see animes that I feel like are growing with its like audience, right? And like this is a show that does that. It seems to now show that anime characters do exist after high school, and
they don't all just turn into like 30-year-old grizzled like massive dudes and stuff.
To be honest with you, I feel like the anime timeline is you look like the entire Tokyo Revengers crew up until you're in high school. You look like apparently all the female characters that are, let's just go, very stacked, if you would, up until high school, and then when you get out of high school, apparently everybody looks like Midoriya's mom, or like Master Roshi shriveled up and shrunken. So like those are the 2 ages that you see in anime. So this is one of I'm not saying that it doesn't exist, but it's nice to see more of it, where you get to see the college life. You get to see something a lot more relatable, and maybe it's because of us and the business that we're in, the creative side of things. And this is really cool to see them put that together. You get to see like kind of like an anime version of like what it's like to put a movie together, make a scene, make a YouTube short, anything, right? So yeah, just really cool to see that side of it. I'm still watching it. Definitely a fun one to watch, and maybe it's more fun for like you and I, because we have kind of like this connection to it. But I still think, just regardless of that connection to the creative side, it's just nice to see more of like this world and like characters that are doing things that seem more grown up than the usual anime.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Still watching it. So yeah, that's Remake Our Life. The next show I'm going to quickly touch on is Villainess, and I also have dropped the show, but not because it's bad. I actually really like the show too. It was just one of those things that like I just naturally was like, okay, I've had my fill of Villainess. It's very similar to Vanitas. Like, I just feel like I got my fill of Johnny Depp as the Willy Wonka guy. I got
Tell me how you really feel about Johnny Depp, because this is the second time you brought Johnny Depp up. Do you not
I actually
like Johnny
really
Depp?
like Johnny Depp, but just like he plays a lot of the same guy. Whereas like I'm Edward Scissorhands. I'm a guy who doesn't speak but is quirky and weird. I'm this butcher of whatever. Yeah, I don't know. So Villainess, it's still like very fun and enjoyable. It just I had to chop something and it ended up being on the block. So. Yeah,
Something had to go.
Sure, it was fun though. I liked it.
I already dropped it in season
good.
1, so.
Okay, so let's move on to the show that I think I know Crim is very excited about, which is Sonny Boy. And I have not caught up yet fully. I think I'm about an episode behind. But Sonny Boy, wow, the atmosphere is like. There's no words to it. It's A++ in terms of atmosphere. It is so weird and mysterious, and I love it. And like the way things kind of get settled. Big fan of the show so far.
Okay, the last time I was this excited was when we talked about the detectives already dead, and I told you it was bad. But I am also like with this high energy. This show's actually amazing, though. Holy hell. I love everything about it. Like, so the animation may look weird or like low budget, but that's because it's meant to look that way, right? But the thing here is there are parts that you see, like the animation is more just weird than it is like poor, right? It's just weird and it's beautiful when it wants to be. Like one of the most recent episodes, I don't want to spoil it, but they go swimming, and it's visually stunning. It is beyond beautiful, and it really explores like I mean, I don't want to spoil too much, but just the worlds that it's set in there. And the art does a good job of giving you that. On top of that, the outro song is a banger. Talk about fully coolly ride on shooting star vibes. Amazing. It's so good. I love the outro song. And yeah, so every character has been very intriguing. It's like almost like watching Survivor in sci-fi mode.
Yeah.
And this is what I've been wanting. I love sci-fi animes. I love sci-fi movies. This is my pick for this season so far. This is the anime that this season needed is currently Sonny Boy. Now, that could change because these shows are always the ones that have the hardest landing to stick.
Yeah.
That's
for
the
sure,
only concern.
because it is so weird and the strange that like how they're going to pull it all together again. Because for anyone who doesn't know anything about what Sonny Boy is, essentially like this school and the some of the kids that were in the school are set adrift into basically what feels like a parallel universe that has very awkward set. Yeah, we don't really know, and it has like really weird rules, like supernatural rules that happen within the show, and certain people find ways to exploit it, and it's like almost like Lord of the Flies a little bit, but with supernatural elements to it. And so, yeah, I don't know. It's very intriguing. There's a lot of like politicking going on with people being like, oh, I have this is their power. They must be doing this thing that's happening, or like, oh no, you discovered that's actually just a rule of this like new world that we've discovered. And it's a wild ride, and I hope people aren't bagging on the animation because it's not the sort of the traditional anime style that we're like used to. Because I personally think that the style of animation is very cool, and like I like the fact that it's so distinct from the and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah,
that could be a podcast topic, by the way, in the future. Is just like talking about anime that isn't traditional in looks, but I think Sonny Boy is beautiful. So
yeah, it is. It's because it's very much so perfectly encaptures what the show wants to be, and I love the weird art. So and usually as I drop like weird art shows, I'm just happy to like that. This one really pleases me because I didn't finish Devilman, and I know that's something that people love. So, but yeah, so check it out if you're into sci-fi. Highly recommend. Still watching this. This is the best show for me so far.
Boom, Sonny Boy. Next one is Jahy-Sama. We actually didn't get to really talk about the show at all when we talked about it in episode 17. It's a late starter. It started its first episode came out like 3-4 weeks after some other shows. Yeah. And I've been really enjoying the show. The show's just kind of quirky and dumb, and I'm liking it so far. Yeah, it's funny and it's quirky, and I like the characters a lot.
Would you say it's like Johnny Depp?
No, it's not Johnny Depp.
Because quirky.
I'm gonna stop bringing up Johnny Depp. I get it. All right, you really like Johnny Depp. I get it.
Swear to God, if you leave this to Johnny Depp,
somehow every anime turns into a comparison to Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp, when you think about it.
But this time in Pirates of the Caribbean. No, I like the show. The thing it does remind me of, which is not Johnny Depp, is the Devil Has a Part-Timer a little bit. It kind of gives me that sort of vibe. Yeah. But instead of... Well, actually, it is just kind of pretty similar in that she's got these powers that are apparently impressive, but in her current state really aren't that impressive. And she's kind of forced to go her daily life. And I really loved her sort of interactions with the people that are in her life. You know, like the landlady is like the funniest thing ever.
It's like a cute funny. It's like, rawr, fear me. But it's like this, come on.
Yeah, you're just like, okay, that's it's like those kittens that are like, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, all right,
okay, all right. Yeah, you're terrifying.
That's so scary. I like her bickering because she's very like bicker heavy, and that's part of the things that I really like about her because the dialogue that she has with people is very fun.
Yeah.
So I'm a big fan of the show so far, and I just kind of want to see what more hijinks they get into. But yeah, the show has 3 episodes right now. There's not that much yet. So
if there is a third one, I think it must have just recently come out because I only had seen 2. So, but yeah, late start, pretty good so far. We'll see if it passes the 3-4 episode test.
Yeah. All right. Next show is the one that the Boba Fett hinged on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Grim, you wanna?
Okay. So okay. So all right. So the next anime is one that I was really excited on because the Duke of Death and his maid, right? Okay. I thought the idea of some Duke killing everything that he touches, it'd have some humorous moments and whatnot, but it turns out it's completely devoid of humor. And it is actually just purely the maid's fan service. Like it's like booba, and that's the joke. Like that's it.
Gotcha.
And
I just realized I'm kind of low on water. You know what would be nice is boba.
Oh yeah, like okay. All right. Yeah, I lost the bet. Okay, the show sucks. All right, this one's a drop. I drop this. This is bad. Don't watch it. And I will say, if you do watch this, the saving grace of this character is the butler, Rob, he's a butler who threw his back out, but remembers how to do everything perfectly like a butler, and he's got crazy fast reflexes, but he's blind. So he's gone partially blind, and so sometimes he confuses the main character with anybody else, and as you know, if you touch the main character, you die. So he is the carry of the show, and unfortunately,
why are the butlers always the carry?
I don't know. Actually,
where does that trope come from? Like in Batman,
Alfred,
in Bond, in I guess Q isn't really Bond's butler.
No, but like Black
Helsing,
Butler,
the Black Butler, yeah.
Yeah, the butler's the carry, and this butler though has a very frail back according to the show, and as we said, it's just not enough to hold up this show. So this is a skip. You can get your boba later.
Cha-ching. All right, next show that we'll talk about is Aquatope. So.
Sorry, I'm falling asleep.
About this. Sorry. If anyone ever wants to fall asleep, you can put away the melatonin, you can put away the purple drink, you can put away, whatever. just watch an episode of Aquatope. That's actually probably the best sleep aid you could a person could ever have. Wow, I have debilitating sleep issues. Don't worry, I've got the perfect cure. Just watch a PA Works original. Oh,
Doctor prescribed. Boom. Sleep schedule fixed. Everything. Like your credit score went up. All of it at once. Like this show is so boring. And after watching 4 episodes, realistically, I've watched.
How did you get to 4 episodes?
I've watched 8 episodes in a 4-episode show. Like, as in, I had to watch every episode twice because I kept falling asleep. It was so hard to watch. And this isn't like, oh, you watched it at 5 a.m. Dude, I watched this at broad daylight. I drank G Fuel. I drank coffee. I didn't go into this like sleepy. I was wired. Yet somehow it just overrode all of that and it just tucked me right in. Sweet kiss on the forehead. Night, night, sweet prince. Okay. Nothing happens. And that's the thing is, you don't even see the real dilemma that every character, like the whole point of the show, right? It's the idols and trying to like figure out their career, right? A post-idol. Their lives post-idol career. Yet, you're not really presented with that at all narratively until like episode, I think 3. I don't know. It feels like every episode's like 6 seasons of like a really bad anime. So I think it was like episode 3 or 2 or something like that, right? And wow, why does it suck? Like how did you perfectly make something look so good yet have nothing?
I mean, this is the PA Works special where like the animation and everything, the way it presents itself looks like, oh, it's gonna be it's gorgeous. The animation looks so good. Like all the environments and stuff are so beautiful, and like this one in particular, like the aquarium is so well done, and then you look at the trailer and you're like, oh, there's going to be some deep drama and some hurt and you're going to go on an emotional journey. And it's like, well, maybe if you dream about something emotional as you fall asleep to the show, maybe there is something like, because like you said, it takes forever for the show to get anywhere. And I saw this coming a mile away. PA Works has done this over and over and over again. And so like, I keep wanting their originals to end up somewhere good, but I don't. This is supposed to go on for 24 episodes, Crim.
Oh my god,
24.
I'm getting tired hearing that. Like legitimately, dude.
Just like bearing through 24 episodes at that pace, they could have saved a lot of money just by having 12 episodes and just speeding everything up, you know. This one's quite a stinker for me, but this one I personally saw this a mile away because I get baited by PA Works literally every single time. So
you know what, I will still get baited because I'm not done here. They've got to have something good for me.
All right,
it's not this one. I know it's not this one. Like, and maybe if for the watchers, the listeners at home, if Aquatope gets better somewhere around like episode 20, just tell me, like tweet it at me or something like that. Tweet it at us. We have a podcast Twitter account now, so surprise.
Oh, go follow that. Yeah.
Boom, follow that. We'll remind you again later. But the thing here is, like this show just, it's not for me. It's so boring. It's beautifully animated, but very boring. Definitely a drop.
Yep. All right, next show is the Idaten-tachi show. I think the English name translates to the Idaten deities know only peace. And this one, kind of like Jahy-Sama, came out a little bit later. This was a show that, like, from the previews, I was very interested in, but I was kind of curious where it was going to end up. This is actually one of the only shows that I'm watching that has, like, a adult warning on it, and that was kind of surprising to me. I was like, uh-oh, where is this headed? And I also found out that the person who wrote this is the same person who wrote Ishizoku Reviewers, and that show is raunchy as hell. So I was like, is this show going to be as raunchy as that? And so far, not really. What I will say is that the bar is very over top.
If the bar is Ishizoku Reviewers or whatever, I think, yeah, of course. I don't know if this is going to be as raunchy as that.
Yeah, that show's pretty raunchy.
Isn't there a crim in that show?
In Ishizoku? Oh, yes.
It's like apparently like, yeah, okay.
Well, for the people who know, wink, wink, we know. But yeah, to talk about the Idaten-tachi, essentially what the show is about, because I didn't really know what the show was about until I watched it, and essentially it's like 800 years ago, demons used to be everywhere, and these deities basically extinguished all of them. And now it's 800 years later, and the deities have basically lost their combat prowess. Like, there's been no reason for them to ever train or anything, so they're just kind of chilling, right? And then we find out that the old demons now have intelligence that they're trying to bring back and try to like take over the world again. So it's kind of their it's really about the demons trying to become a threat again, and the Idaten-tachi getting in their way. And the show is honestly, this one's one of the more captivating shows of the season for me, and I love the action sequences. The humor in the show is also I think it's just hilarious, and the way they I don't know. This is the way they carry conversations when they're so powerful, and like ridiculous things happen where like someone gets punched through the chest and they just have a giant hole, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's fine. I'll walk that one off." And you're like, "Oh, okay then." But I've been enjoying the show quite a bit, and there is some content warning stuff. First episode starts with or ends with some stuff that I was like, I don't know if that really needed to be in there. And there's also a character named Miku who is literally a carbon copy of Hatsune Miku, but basically naked. And her whole thing is like she likes. Anyways, it does get raunchy. So, and not it gets there. But I think overall the show is really fun, and I enjoy it. So, have you been watching this, Crim?
This is one of the ones I also wanted to watch. But if you remember at the beginning of the season when we talked about the things we were looking at, the synopsis was like almost felt like a bunch of sentences copy and pasted together with no no punctuation, no like looking it over at all. It was not cohesive in any way, shape or form. So I actually was very confused at what it was. But I knew I wanted to watch it because it looked kind of cool, and Mappa's doing it. So I haven't seen any of it yet, but this is something I'm going to get started on. So you're saying it's worth a pickup, right?
I've been really enjoying it. To kind of talk a little bit more about it, basically there's one Idaten, who has survived the 800 years, and she's like unbelievably powerful. And the way the show it starts out is like the demons are like, "Oh, we're hot shit, baby. We like all the Idaten have only known peace, and like we're demons. We're strong." And like you see them like pick up tanks, and they're like they're super strong. And then they're like, "Okay, so obviously what we got to do is that's just one Idaten who came from. All we have to do is send our strongest people, and we'll just kill them, and then we'll take over the world, easy peasy." And then they get there, and they're just completely out of their league, and it's very charming to see the enemies. It's like more so, I feel like in a lot of anime, the way it's positioned is always like, oh, it's the main characters who have to go against like this really unkillable threat, right? It's like the Avengers versus Thanos, right? Like that's how it is. But this is like the reverse. It's like we've got Thanos on our side, and these Avengers are like trying to figure out what the heck can we do against someone this strong. And the thing too is that Thanos is also training other Thanoses to be as strong as them. And so they're on a ticking time clock. Yeah, exactly. Thanos is. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Thanosai? I don't know.
Thani. I think it's Thani.
Thani, yeah. And so like it's very funny to have sort of underdog villains who are just like trying to figure out ways to figure it out. And I think the humor in the show really kind of carries it for me. So I'm a big fan of the show. Highly recommend, Crim. You should watch it. I think you might like it.
I'll definitely pick it up. I mean, because it's still, definitely one of the ones I wanted to see. I did end up, however, I didn't pick this show up, right? But that's because I did pick up another show that wasn't originally even on my list to begin with from First Impressions. And it's Uramichi Oniisan. And this show is a slice of life comedy, essentially about a crew of people who run a children's show. But like the humor is that these like the characters, like you're seeing the actors and all of that stuff. Like they're supposed to portray the super happy, you know, like Steve from Blue's Clues, but like on the inside, they're like just super duper crushed by the harsh realities, right, of life. And they're just like trying to tell children like, yo, when you grow up, life is gonna suck. Like they're like, you know, like, and it's just, and it's like it's just the most sad three people that run a children's show that's really popular, but they're so sad, and it's just like hilarious watching them do things day to day and try to just pull a smile out and fake it and just like be positive, but like through the positivity you could tell they're just dying on the inside. So, that is, like, I don't want to spoil it, but like, it's got a lot of humor in it. And if you're looking for that kind of like sad boy humor, like crying behind my laughter kind of humor, I love it. Right. Like, I think the show is solid, and it's so much better than I thought it was. I actually didn't even pick it up until, I actually saw a meme that came from him, like, oh, this is a really funny joke. What is this, right? And it was like something like, what do children have, or what do adults have, or children have that adults don't? And it was just like apparently a little kid just said hope or something like that. and then like it does a little bit of that humor that I love from like Asobase or Asabase. It's got like that funny, like weird looking face humor. So definitely dig it. Recommend this as a pickup if you're looking for a funny comedy.
The show reminds me of that thing from The Watchmen where it's Rorschach and he's talking about a man going to a doctor and says he's really depressed, and the doctor's like, "Oh, that's fine. Just go see the great clown Pagliacci." And the man turns to the doctor and he goes, "But I am Pagliacci." And it's like they made an entire anime about that, where it's just like, I'm supposed to be this guy who's so cheerful and inspire these kids, but I'm the most depressed one here. So
who watches The Watchmen, I guess, right? So
I've heard good things about the show, and so I was thinking about maybe potentially picking this one up as well.
This has got some lighthearted fun, so check it out if you're into that.
So those are the new shows, I think, on our list. But let's talk about some of the ones that have continued from last season.
Drum roll. These are the big ones.
Yeah. So these are some of the heavy hitters, I think. My Hero Academia 5th season. I'm still watching it. You still watching it? We hung in there. We hung through the weird battle arc between the classes. We hung in there for the random Christmas episode. We hung in there for the random
family
we're
growing
now
pains. Trouble. Yeah.
And now with the last episode, it seems like things are in motion. Wow, that's crazy. The crowd goes wild.
Oh my God, 16 episodes later. Let's go.
You know,
I almost wanted to buy an air horn. I do have a digital air horn just for this moment. I'm not even joking you, and I definitely used it because oh whoops, that's one of the settings. You can do a movie horn, but then it's just like legitimately I was so excited. This last episode of My Hero was great. You finally got to see, there's a lot of seeds that have been planted from the first 10 episodes that haven't been answered, and I really wish they would dive a little more in on. But you do get to kind of see, this feels very much so like everything from this season is all about getting Endeavor, redeeming Endeavor. Right, that's what it felt a lot like. Sure, you get a little bit of the powers. What's Deku up to? Right, but the thing here is, it felt like a lot of this was just focusing on Endeavor and his family and the way he's handling being now the #1 hero. Right.
Yeah.
So, which that was cool. I liked it, but I don't think it needed to be 32 episodes or whatever it was. Right. But now we're finally through that, and without spoiling this most recent episode, this is the story arc that has me interested.
Yeah, I felt like everything in this season has been sort of all over the place.
Right.
And even including this last episode, it really doesn't fit well with everything that's happened thus far.
It hasn't transitioned well.
Yeah. I don't know where the next episode will be. If it changes off of something else, I'm gonna be really disappointed again.
I'm gonna be pissed if it doesn't follow this storyline.
Because whatever they're on right now, we get a little more backstory behind some characters that you know. We get a little more backstory on some villains you know, and it's wild. It really opens up the whole, like, I think up until this point, all the villains in My Hero Academia have sort of been just left mysteriously. You know, like they just show up, they do things, and you're like, man, these guys are just dicks, I guess. I don't know why they're doing this. Like, like the motivation didn't seem like particularly that clear to me. And then in this last episode, they sort of clue you into one of the goals that they had and succeeded on, and you're like, oh, what? I wasn't expecting something quite that dark like that. And even just the way the tone of the last episode, immediately I had like chills, because like the sort of setting, like the way the characters set the tone for like what was about to happen, it was very unsettling, and I was like, oh my god, what is about to happen here? And then the reveal happens, and you're like, oh yeah, oh my god, they went that far. They're doing what now? And I'm flabbergasted. I need more episodes. I need more of this. This is what I want. None of that other crap so far. I need more of this. Yeah.
We're not trying. We aren't trying to spoil it for you, but like legitimately, it feels like now this episode is the start of season 5, because the rest of the stuff before just doesn't seem like it connects at all to this episode. Like, how did this segue into this episode? Right? None of that made sense to me. Like, I think like everything before this episode just felt like a bunch of B-sides. And so now we finally got there. You get this like wild reveal. You get to see, you know, like more depth and backstory behind some of the teachers, like some of my favorites. And like Josh had mentioned, and there's just a lot of good stuff here. And the way they laid out the, like, you know, the villain's plan simultaneously with things that are going on, like the alternating scenes, I thought was pretty cool. So this was a very, very good episode. So finally, My Hero Academia season 5 started, everybody. It's finally
congratulations. 16 episodes in or whatever.
We're finally starting.
So anyways, My Hero, I hope they keep this momentum up. So.
Yeah, like ride this to the finale, please. But so another show that had a good amount of momentum, though, right? I mean, Tokyo Revengers. Yeah, Tokyo Revengers. Our favorite little show with a bunch of like 18 different Kuwabaras. That's pretty much all. They're all just Kuwabaras.
This universe that Tokyo Revengers lives in is just it's still so wild to me. It's just like, what are these middle schoolers up to, man? Like, why are they just like out here beating the how old is Draken? And he looks like he's built like a college linebacker, and like some of these dudes are like enormous, and they're smoking cigarettes, and they've got like deep gravelly voices, like
full
I don't know what kind of middle
tattoos.
school. I'm just like, what is this world that we live in Tokyo Revengers that like kids are doing this? I really don't understand.
We're now getting to the territory of what I believe is super powered outsiders. Like I said before, it was like the outsiders with a little bit of time travel right before. Now you add superpowers into it.
They are basically super powered. At least with this last episode, I was like, okay, apparently they're just God amongst men. You know, Mikey really is just a god amongst men. I don't understand. I think I don't want to spoil things, but Tokyo Revengers, I had a hard time initially getting used to the concept, I think, because that the world was very much realistic to more, I would say, more grounded than, say, you know, like My Hero Academia or whatever. It's not a fantasy story. People aren't like objectively have superpowers or whatever. I was kind of expecting a more grounded story, but when you kind of separate it from that and you think of it as more like, no, this Tokyo Revengers is like a fantasy story about a world where middle school gangsters have taken over Tokyo, right?
That's the appropriate super powered middle school gangsters.
Yeah, superpower middle school, like, you know, that's like, they're like Dynasty Warriors. It's like Lu Bu amongst the thousands of random soldiers from Dynasty Warriors. I don't know what to call them, foot soldiers, but
soldiers, sure.
But yeah, anyways, like I just, the show has got its charm, and it took me a while to feel like I was invested, but I think I'm at this point, 20 episodes or whatever in, I feel like I finally got there to where I feel sort of invested now, and like Takemichi still bothers the heck out of me.
Oh my god!
But like everyone else is so cool that, and like the world is so ridiculous that I'm kind of like, okay, no, I'm kind of about this. I don't know.
Okay, so I'm like kind of right there, right? I love the show. I'm invested. I mean, at this point, I've just accepted that they're gonna have superpowers, right? And on top of that, just like authority adults, they just don't exist, right? Like they just don't exist at all. Like they're more mythical than a dragon. Like I could believe a dragon and like Metroid Prime characters just running across the street blasting each other than seeing an adult. Or a cop, right? So, and so the thing with this show so far, though, is Takemichi, I gave him now, 18, 19 episodes, and I'm now where Josh was at episode 12, right? I've been a little more lenient on Takemichi, because I'm like, okay, he's a little whiny, he's got a little bit of the Shinji effect, yeah, whatever. But now this episode weaponized his whininess. And I'm like, God damn, is that character development? I'm like registering. Did he just get a superpower and his power is to complain? because am I wrong? Like I think legitimately his superpower is that he just complained. And
it rallied people. Yeah. It roused the spirits among middle school gangsters.
Yeah, it's like a bard playing a song to power up the team, and his song is just to cry and complain. And I don't know. I don't necessarily know how that worked, but whatever, I guess. And at this point, I guess we call it character development. But if they don't do something soon, we're going to have a lot of crying, superpowered crying. And I don't know, man. Like Takemichi's getting a little on my nerves.
Yeah, I still think Takemichi is the weak part of the show. Everyone else is so cool. Everyone else is so cool. And then you have Takemichi.
Just call it what it is. Everybody else, all the other Kuwabaras. Like, there's so many Kuwabaras. This show, okay, take Kuwabara from Yu Yu Hakusho, put 18 of them together, and they just fight each other. And that's literally Tokyo Revengers. And
but they're cooler than Kuwabara.
First off,
Kuwabara's all right, but he's no Mikey. He's no dragon. Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
And third.
Got it.
Like, cool, you got it? All right. But this show is definitely, it feels like the dead weight is Takemichi. So if you were expecting some kind of different Takemichi from episode 1, the difference is now his whininess is a power. That's the only thing that has happened in 18 to 20 episodes.
Yeah, I still had to separate myself from the fact that apparently Takemichi is like a 27, 20,
yeah, some year old.
Yeah, he's like he's a full-fledged adult. And he's whinier and less of an adult than, I don't know, anyone else in the show. And it's weird. I don't know. I was not 26, 27 that long ago. I don't know. I just...
But wait, can you answer this though? Like, if you ignore Takemichi and his obnoxiousness and his 26-year-old whiny baby self, how old is Draken supposed to be in the future? Because
Bro, Draken's older than me because he's
every time I watch the show, I'm just like, how old is Draken?
Draken has the energy of like a late 60s gangster lord, you know, and like he is the godfather essentially, and like, but in the form of like a younger 20s, I don't know,
middle school kid.
Yeah, he's a middle schooler.
He's the youngest one,
tattoo.
right? He's technically the younger one, I think, or something like that. Because
between him and Mikey, I think.
I think so.
I don't know.
I don't know. Whatever.
God,
but yeah, super powered Green Street Hooligans or Tokyo Revengers, still solid, still recommend. Despite
still
its
enjoying
outlandishness.
Yeah, it's outlandish for not, in my opinion, the greatest reasons, but like I'm still invested. So
yeah,
still liking it. So yeah, let's move on to I think our last show that we're going to talk about today, which is To Your Eternity. And To Your Eternity, we've sung the praises for since, I don't know, episode 1. And what do you think so far? What's like? I'm still watching it. I know you're still watching it.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I was every episode. It was as simple as this. He does not miss. Right? But 18 episodes in, and like this arc, we're on an island of mass murderers, and I just don't know how they're gonna. I'm expecting a certain level of feels. I don't see how they're gonna achieve that level of feels with where we are right now. The way everything's set up, like I don't even think I've felt any other emotion other than maybe we can move a little bit faster. It's
this is the stinker arc so far. And it's not horrible by any means. It's not bad, but compared to the fact that every other arc so far has been like a 10 out of 10 or close to.
Yeah.
And we suddenly get to this arc, and even though probably objectively this arc is still not worse than like a 7 out of 10, in comparison to everything else, it just feels so empty, slow, and meaningless a little bit. And so I don't know how they're going to finish this with me in tears like normal, because like every time we get to an end of a To Your Eternity arc, I have to prepare the tissues because it's just always a tearjerker. This time around, I'm kind of like, I don't think I'm gonna care, but I'm also kind of excited to see if they can make me care.
Right. There's that part of me that's like, I don't care, but unless. You know, like make me cry,
make me cry.
Please let me cry. Like, like the character that they're following this arc just, I don't know. It just seems like any other anime character I'd see. Every average, 14-year-old in the world of anime, born on a murder island. But like, I don't know. I mean, this show has maybe one more episode after, because I think episode 19 aired at the date at this time of filming. Episode 19 just aired, so it's going up to 20 episodes. So it's got the next 2 episodes, 19 and 20, to wrap this up. And do I think that after 20 episodes the show is going to end? Probably not. I mean, you saw how many faces are in that intro, how many other people. I have to imagine Fushi's got a lot more to learn, right?
Yeah.
But let's just say the end of this season 1, I don't know how they're going to close and have it like match the caliber of every other arc before this.
I agree. I really don't know how they stick the landing on this one, but I guess at this point I have to give them my trust because they've done such a good job thus far, and I'm excited for these next 2 episodes regardless. Like I really do want to see how they make this last arc feel good. I do know that a lot of the people who have read the manga has said that they have arcs that are better and worse, and it would be a shame if it ended on an arc that wasn't as good as the rest, but we'll see.
Much like Xell had mentioned earlier, even if this arc is worse and it's looking like it's heading that way, it's still good. Right, compared to the average anime, it's still enjoyable, right? So Yeah, and maybe we do a full dive into this show for an episode for the end of the season. Who knows?
Maybe.
Check our YouTube. We're pretty excited. So
subscribe to that. Or check out our Twitter. That's also
our
new.
New Twitter. Our new Twitter.
Twitter,
Fresh.
which you can find at Nii-San Podcast. That's 2 I's, not like the car. Nii-San Podcast.
And yeah, so this is going to be a show we're gonna have to keep an eye on. One show that did continue over from last season that I'm gonna lightly touch upon is Iruma. And
that's right, yeah.
Iruma's fun, but it's just legitimately nothing has changed except for now he's just in a bigger classroom. So that's it. And that's the show. So if you liked last season, you liked what we had before on the show, you just get more of it. And it's still enjoyable. I'm still watching it, but it's definitely falling down the tiers. It's still above a few of the other shows from from the current season, but yeah, definitely it's climbing down the rankings. So, I think that wraps up this episode.
That wraps up everything. Let's do some conclusory thoughts here. We were pretty down on the season. Now we're about halfway in. How are we feeling on the season so far?
So to really just wrap everything up, and this season so far has some sleepers. It has some sleepers here, and I think the front facing series is probably going to be Tokyo Revengers and and of the newer seasons probably Dragon Maid, right? Like those are the front facing things that everybody's got their eyes on and stuff. But I think that despite it being my favorite, and sure people already are pretty pumped on it, it feels like Sonny Boy is going to be kind of overlooked. It just feels like it's going to get overlooked, and I think that's got to be one of the sleeper picks for me, along with for those who like comedy, Uramichi Oniisan is pretty funny. So these are shows that I think are really good and kind of overlooked right now. Overall the season not as bad as I thought it would be. A lot of filler, a lot of slow shows. Some of them are My Hero has been a pretty big letdown for me this season, more than it was last season. But it is moving now in a direction where I'm hoping that My Hero continues to just keep the momentum going, and now they've set up enough, right? So the season better than I initially thought. I
think I'm similar in that feeling that I think it has been better than I thought, but it hasn't been spectacular, and I feel like I'm held to the season by promises where if Slime ends up being if it pops off, if My Hero pops off, if To Your Eternity ends on a good note, if Tokyo Revengers pops off, a lot of these, and Sonny Boy too needs to kind of it's good so far, but where does it end? A lot of these things are I feel like the momentum is building and is there, and it's now by the time we get to the end of the season, I feel like we'll really get a feeling for was all this buildup actually worth it, or was it all foreplay and no play? I guess we're gonna find out. Yeah, we're gonna find out, because I do think it's been better, but not by that much either. There have been some nice little surprises. But that's kind of it. Nothing that just stands out as being this was on the level that Vivi was when that was coming out, To Your Eternity when that initially started. So nothing quite like that yet in the season. But
Kanojo could pop off. You don't know. You seem to have purposely left that off. Did you know that? Okay, cool. All right, I just wanted to verify that you knew you left that off. That's all. But in all seriousness, despite what Xell watches on his own time, the thing here is I do think if Sonny Boy sticks its landing, it'll be more than just the best of this season.
It could be an anime of the year contender. We'll see.
It is a very good show if it can find a way to land. So I'm very eager to keep my eye on that show.
Yeah, and so I guess with that, this was our wrap up of the current season, mid-season update for 2021 summer anime, and that's pretty much it. We'll see you guys next week, and we've got some episodes planned for the future. We want to try some new things out, so we hope to see you in future things. Please continue to support the podcast. We see you guys in the comments. It's actually been wonderful reading people be like, oh, like I just saw your podcast, like I've been loving it, so I just want to shout you guys out in the comments.
For sure,
you guys have been super motivating, and like we are super happy to have you. And as always, please leave us some suggestions of things that you guys want to hear us talk about. If there are things that we could do, like let us know. Just we're an open ear. So, with that. Thank you guys so much. Again, we're on episode 20, episode 21 in the future.
Over 1,100 subs.
We're cranking.
Over 1,100 downloads. Over 1,100 downloads. We're pushing 400 subs. Hell yeah! Thank you to everybody that comes by, or like our Twitch channels. I see you coming by too, saying hi, giving dropping that you love the show. Thank you for listening. Thanks for stopping by, and just keep spreading the word. Follow our Twitter.
Yes.
Do the thing. The bird. Follow the bird.
Thank you guys so much. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.